are extremely scared of basically the economy and what's going on in the industry and in the RV community overall, based on the fact that RVbusiness.com, RV News, a bunch of publications are putting out massive amounts of propaganda everywhere. You now have Winnebago brand ambassadors and podcasters who are now pushing an agenda that basically is trying to set up that nothing's wrong. Now, is it doom and gloom where the RV industry is going to come crashing down in the summer of 2026? No. Is it all sunshine and rainbows and everything's fine like a lot of these articles want to make it out to be? Absolutely not. Now, I've got allergies. I haven't been feeling good for the last 10 days, so I haven't done any videos. But we're going to do this anyway. So welcome in to HB RV Lifestyle, the podcast. I'm the host, John Levingston, a.k.a. the Honey Badger, here to give it to you straight and transparent about the RV business, as well as some other things. Now, after the live stream is over, I will link these articles in the description box below, but if you're watching live, you can actually follow along. So the first article that pops up says, officials pleased with overwhelming Overland Expo West. Now, I know a couple of guys that go there that actually display different off-road options and off-grid camping options, okay? They told me it was bigger than they expected, more people than they expected, but there was nobody buying. Now, that is normal. When you actually go look at that side of the RV lifestyle, most of that is all due to the fact that they're all independent manufacturers that sell maybe 20 or 30 units a year. They're not Forest River selling 10, 15,000 travel trailers a quarter. It's not Keystone RV or Brinkley RV or any of these big named companies. These are small folks that sell pop-up tents on trucks. They sell a bunch of niche products for those folks that don't want to spend 25 grand or 30 grand on a used truck camper. Hold on one second. Hi, it's Nor's RV. How may I help you? Yes. Hi. Okay. That's fine. Right. So you're going from 34 foot to 28 foot. Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 You mean keep the fifth wheel? Okay. It's possible. That's why I didn't send it to US Bank, because my gut feeling said you were probably going to tell me that. So I didn't send it to both banks yet. I had kind of had like a vision of maybe I should wait. Um, well, I mean, again, it's only going to go down in value, but then again, you can always use the fifth wheel for other things. You know what I mean? I mean, Yeah, he does. And well, it's also a couples thing. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's possible. You guys have strong enough credit. I don't think it'll be a problem. Um, and the tent trailer is basically pure equity, so it's like it's not a big, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. It's just finding something for you guys. So what I would do is go on our website. I actually have a few units at our Napa store. Right. BHLE. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. You do, but I'd also look on the website and look at there's a Winnebago 22-foot little dual axle trailer that we have pre-owned that's up in the Napa location. And I would take a look at that because they've got more small, and they also have the 164, which is another, that's more of a 20-foot couples unit. And that's something we could sell for, under 20 grand. And it's under 20 feet. And yeah, that it just open yourself up to a little bit of the use because they do have some nice used stuff up in the Napa store. And if you guys like something there, I can bring it down here. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it's a nice little unit. It's small, it's compact, and it's dual axle if I remember right. Yeah, that's cool. Take your time and just let me know what you guys want to do. Not a problem. I'm here just about every day, but this week I'm taking Wednesday and Thursday off. Of course, I say that every single week, and I end up working. But just give me, just give us a shout. I'll tell Mike in the morning, and Mike will help you guys out if you guys have any issues. Okay? Yeah, yeah, yep. Just give me a shout. Yeah, no problem. You guys have a good one. Okay? Oh, don't worry about it. You're good. You guys are fine. Oh, all right. Bye bye. There's an example of someone that just wasn't ready, but we'll get into that in a minute. So there's a lot of propaganda that's going on just overall in the industry, and a lot of it is fear-based propaganda. It's not, and it's like this for a lot of the industry. It doesn't matter if they're selling, a sewer hose or they're selling a $500,000 motorhome. There's a lot of fear because the industry still thinks that COVID-19 numbers are possible. And again, this isn't directed only at manufacturers of travel trailers and motorhomes. It's not just directed at dealers. This is also directed at companies that sell accessories. These are people that sell batteries and solar panels and generators and all this stuff. There's a lot of propaganda from those folks as well because everybody saw what happened during COVID and still thinks that that is normal. They're still trying to manufacture stuff for a lifestyle because they think it's growing. And again, it's just politics. It's all, you hear this all the time. When a Democrat is in office, they can't do anything wrong. And the Republicans say that Democrats are doing everything wrong and they're failing at our country. Then power switches and the Republicans do the same crap the Democrats were. And once again, we're all in the same boat. One's yelling that we're going to die, and the other side is like, oh, it's heaven, we're fine, everything's good. It's the same crap. It's just corporate instead of political. So if you actually read through this article, it says the Overland Expo West concluded after 3 days of exhibits, learning and demonstrations centered around the overlanding lifestyle and experience. This is the 17th year for this show, which was held at Fort Tehill County Park in Flagstaff, Arizona. By the way, that's a cool place to go if you've never been. The event boasts over 400 exhibitors of all kinds, as well as over 175 classes, slideshows, demos, and activities. Ultimately, the show aims to bring campers, motorcyclists, and gear with the educational components that everyone from aspiring overlanders to experts can find out more about the experience. So, again, that's a play on words. Aspiring overlanders is a buzzword to convey to sellers of these products that, oh my God, there was so many people, and guys, you're going to miss out if you don't have this at your dealership or have this at your store. Again, you know, and they mentioned Miles for Jason from RV Miles. Okay, great guy, great show. I don't know how there are so many rooftop tent manufacturers, said Jason Epperson of the RV Miles podcast and video channel. I've seen more types of portable fire pits here than I've ever seen at any RV show. So they took a clip because to me, Jason is probably one of the more down the middle, I'll call it journalist of the RV industry and the RV lifestyle. Jason is, from my opinion, one of the better reporters of this stuff. Like, you don't feel like, and excuse my language because I know a lot of people hate it when I cuss, but when I listen to what Jason says, I don't feel like I'm being bullshitted. I feel like I'm getting an actual perspective from someone that their first interest isn't money, fame, clicks, and views. Their first interest and their first thought pattern is for the industry and the community. So, you know, RVbusiness.com takes a excerpt from probably something that needs more context and slides it in there so that way dealerships and retail stores feel more confident. Oh my God, Jason thinks it's a great thing, and that means, I mean, that's it's like one big advertisement. Okay, but does that mean the RV industry is crashing? No. Howdy, no big deal. Does it mean the RV industry is going to go through a massive Armageddon level process of price gouging or price depreciation or companies going out of business completely? Probably not. I would say it's not going to be fear mongering. I haven't responded to comments in like 10 days because I've been sick. I still have to go through. I mean, I've got over 2,000 comments I still got to read through and reply to on the channel. And again, sorry, I've been having really bad allergies. I haven't been feeling good. But when Forest River and Winnebago and a bunch of these people go to a show like this that really isn't made for big manufacturers, it is a sign of desperation. But their desperation isn't rooted in what I consider the norm. It's rooted in, oh my God, we did this in 2021. How can we get back there? I mean, all I hear is, well, we're not selling much. Really? You guys just heard, I got somebody buying almost every single day. There's buyers everywhere. Even at $8 a gallon gas, there's buyers everywhere. That's why the market's not going to crash, because they're targeting a specific person, always have. But it's never going to be what it was during COVID. Never going to happen. Okay. People are loving the overall build, the aesthetics, and the materials. RVIA. RVIA says RVing still offering flexibility and value this summer. As Americans plan their summer vacations amid ongoing economic pressures, crowded airports, rising travel costs, and broader travel unpredictability, new research from the RV Industry Association's Summer Travel Survey shows RV travel is resonating with travelers seeking flexibility, affordability, and outdoor experiences. What it doesn't tell you is that a lot of people want to rent. Okay. And you can wait to buy. Prices aren't going to change. They're not going to go down any more than they already have. Now, if you're waiting to buy because you want a better interest rate, or because maybe you think that private party owners or dealerships will come down on their used and get more desperate to sell their used, that's a personal preference. But the truth is, here's the truth nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about this. When I put a motorhome on Facebook, which, by the way, I got an update on Facebook. Went through some crap. Not only not feeling good, not only being sick and having allergies like no tomorrow, but I had to deal with freaking Facebook. But anyway, we'll get into that in a minute. When I post a motorhome for $60,000, used Class C motorhome, and I mean, on average, I'll get 15, 20 responses in a week on a piece of inventory that I post. Half of them will be fake. When I post that motorhome and the phone rings off the hook with people offering to wire transfer the money, don't sell it, I want it right now. And I've got 418 people a week still messaging me about that motorhome. It tells me there are way more buyers in the market for an RV than there is inventory. There's not enough used and not enough new inventory to cover the price point these folks are at compared to the amount of buyers. Now, you would think, conventional wisdom would say, well, if there's way more buyers than there is supply, why are prices not shooting through the roof like they did during COVID-19? Because what's happening is you're seeing these buyers, they are majority financing the units. So a lot of times, and I just had this discussion yesterday with a guy that owns a Jayco Class C motorhome. He comes in, I gave him the numbers. This is exactly what your motorhome will get on a loan. He wants $25,000 more because it's clean. It's got low miles. I paid $130,000 4 years ago for it. I'm not losing that much money. Okay. But he's had people show up to his house and they don't call him again. They blank him. They ghost him. Why are they ghosting him? Well, they're ghosting him because they went to their credit union and found out that they can only get a $45,000 loan and he wants 60 grand, 70 grand. So that's what the truth is. The truth is that private party sellers and some dealers want way too much money for their pre-owned inventory, and consumers are figuring that out by simply doing their own homework. So they're all being patient. But let me tell you, when you get I had a person consigning a unit here drop a price on a travel trailer, and within a day and a half, I had over 75 people respond to that travel trailer wanting to purchase it. There are more buyers in the market than there is inventory. But inflation is not occurring. It's actually the opposite. But it's not deflation. It's coming back to normal. And who's in control? The lenders. Forest River's not in control. Keystone's not in control. Brinkley's not in control. Grand Design is not in control. The banks and lenders are in control. Just like they're in control of refrigerators, lumber, steel, microchips. It's all debt. Cars, boats, homes. I always hear this crap all the time. This is the stupidest comment I've ever heard. Well, it's only worth what people are willing to pay. No, because I've had people literally come in on a unit that I had on consignment. I didn't have any inventory, so I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? Bring it down. I had a ton of people wanting to buy this one motorhome because they were willing to pay the $90,000, but when we went to go finance it, the banks would only give them 50 or 60 grand. So they're willing to pay the 90, but they're not willing to come up with $35,000 down to finance it because they're buying used. Used, people come up with smaller down payments. That's why they're buying pre-owned. Or if they're cash buyers, they don't want to pay or don't have the budget to pay for something brand new. That goes for cars, that goes for boats, that goes for houses. Houses, your house is determined by somebody telling you what the house is worth and what a bank will lend on it. Your house is not worth what you are willing to sell it for. It's worth whatever a bank will lend on it. That's a fact of life. All right, Snores RV, I'm gonna help you. No, we don't. No, we don't have storage. I don't know, sir. I'm not there. I'm in Lodi. No, sir, this is not. Have a great day, sir. Thank you so much. We're not a storage service. Have a great day. Thank you. So anyway, long story short, the RV industry is not going to crash. Not the way people want it to happen. Not the way people are hoping it will happen. Prices on new will continue to climb and go up. Prices on used will continue to go down. There's not going to be, used is not going to increase in value. New is not going to come down in price. Okay. Now, let me show you guys something. I'll do another video on that. But I was going to explain how and why a bank will not, why banks will basically stop lending, and the entire industry will come to like nothing, and people will lose their lives if cars even come down in price. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is RV loans. Okay. So there's a lot of chatter in the banking community, especially when it comes to boat loans or recreational loans of any kind, that want to talk about the possibility interest rates are going to go up by the end of the year if the war in Iran does not stop. I don't foresee that happening. Right now, we have hit kind of the sweet spot that I'm actually used to. We've hit this sweet spot where interest rates are almost what they were during 2017, 2018, right at the tail end of Obama, right at the beginning of Trump, when rates were right around 7 or 8%. That's the norm. Okay, that's like, I know that rate. I know those payments. That's been the normal for me over just over 17 years in this industry. So having a base rate right around there is exciting because it means overall we're going to have a better, basically it's the perfect balance of the profit margin and the consumer getting a good deal. Now, the people making money hand over fist, the bank, but it's just that right balancing act, right? Now, I do see, if you want to wait 5 years, I do see a point in time where rates will come down to 5.5%, 6% in an RV loan. I think in 5 years, right around 2031, 2032, we'll have this push to get more debt out into the marketplace. And I think that's what will probably end up happening. Excuse me, I'm going to blow my nose. Pardon me. Man, my allergies are just killer. So I think that's where we're at as far as interest rates. Banks still want down payments. That hasn't changed. Trade-ins, oh my God, I'm seeing people that are just... It was funny. A lot of these folks have been telling me for 3 and 4 years, I'm not buying in 2021 because in 2023, people are going to get rid of them and dump them. I'm going to be able to pick up a $200,000 motorhome for like 50 grand because they're not going to be using it. They're going to hate the industry, blah, blah, blah. What I didn't factor in was the majority of people didn't pay cash for an RV. So I'm witnessing a lot of Grand Design fifth wheel owners that are $50,000 and $60,000 upside down retail, not wholesale, retail. Bought in 2021, 2020, 2022. I have a person who owns a Brinkley that does not have leak problems, piss perfect unit, nice and clean. $71,000 upside down retail. So how are you going to pick up those units for pennies on the dollar? You're not. If those people voluntarily repossess the unit and they had good credit, they're out of the market to be able to buy an RV for 8 years, possibly up to 10. So we lose a lifestyle member who won't be able to finance anything for a very long time. Now the bank and the lender has to recuperate as much money as they can because, yep, we repoed it. Yeah, I know. I owe the bank $70,000. Bankruptcy! Hey, can I get a BK over here? See, people don't realize that is the next step in evolution of this. It's not in... See, people think it's cut and dry of exactly what's going to happen because you're using what you think is logic. It's not logical. The lenders hold the paper. They simply have to recuperate as much money as humanly possible. If you go to the auction right now as a dealer, you are getting smoked at the auction. Because, again, the biggest bailout in RV industry history will happen from FEMA bailing out the banks of all the repossessions. I know everybody thinks I'm smoking dope or drinking too much when I say that. It's already started. FEMA got some money and they bought a bunch of units from a corporation that actually repossesses units for 4 major banks. And they paid retail book. It already happened. 20 units were bought by FEMA from a company that is under a corporate structure or fed by a corporate structure of lenders. And I guarantee you, if you went to those units, they were voluntarily repossessed because the people were $50,000+ upside down. Retail. Here comes FEMA. They need units. They need units for fires and hurricanes and things like that. Now, what's really screwed up, and excuse my language, but it's really screwed up, is it fucks over a lot of the dealerships and the manufacturers from being able to clear out some inventory. But FEMA doesn't care where they get the units. They don't care. So a lot of those units you guys were hoping that you could buy for pennies on the dollar, you'll never see them. You'll never have access to them. You'll never even see it happen. So waiting, it's not going to benefit you price wise. It could benefit you situation wise. It could benefit you if you're building your credit or want to come up with more money, or maybe you want to pay cash, or maybe you just want to feel like you can actually use the bloody thing. There's a lot of situations that waiting helps out with. In-laws, kids in college. I'm just tired of hearing everybody use the same excuse. Oh, I'm just waiting until prices come down. No, you either can't afford it or you're really busy in life and you want to come up with something instead of talking about the truth. The greatest thing, people are more, they're afraid more of, was it the fear of offending is greater than the fear of loss. There it is. The fear of offending is greater than the fear of loss. And then I got, oh wait, it gets better. Then I got dumbass dealerships across the United States talking in 20 groups about how they've marked up their used because supposedly they're getting low ball offers every time somebody comes into the dealership on their used. I'm like, I don't have that. I have never had that. If somebody texts me or emails me a stupid ass offer, I don't even look at it. I don't even give it the time of day. It's a fishing expedition. Now, if I get asked, is that your best price? Hey, is there any wiggle room? I'll respond to that all day. That's somebody that's a real buyer. Do you give a military discount, police, fire, etc.? I'll pay attention to that all day. That's a real buyer. But somebody who's texting you through Instagram or Facebook, hey, so your $50,000 motorhome, will you take 10 grand in a Corvette? I mean, give me a break. So price your units accordingly, and you won't have the low ball problem. Every time I've had a unit priced properly, nobody fights me on the price. They've done their homework. They've done their research. There's so much information all over the internet on how to shop for anything from a washer and dryer to a used lawnmower. There's information everywhere. Dealers need to get out of the fucking Stone Age, wake up, and realize today's buyers, I don't care if they're 19 years old or 99 years old, don't want to play the game of, well, I'm going to ask 150 grand because I want to get to 75. So come offer me 50 so we can meet somewhere in the middle. I mean, nobody wants to do that crap. And anybody that does want to do that crap ain't worth your time. It's not like it was back in my day. And I say back in my day because I came in at the tail end of all the guys that I learned from, basically on their leg out going to retirement. And the old school way was you started at MSRP. Well, folks, if you want, come on in and make any offer you want. And then you got to send in a closer. And then you got to have a Foursquare. And then you got to have a pencil back. I'm sorry, I don't operate that way. You want to make an offer? I'm good. But I always warn people, I make sure they're priced according to market. But if you want to make an offer, I'm more than happy to call the person that owns the trailer or motorhome, see if they'll take less. Are you ready to buy now? No, we just want to see if we could get it for that much. Have a nice day. Not calling the customer for that. Yes, I'm ready. Great. Fill out this credit app right here, or if you're paying cash, fill out this information packet with the address you want it registered to, and I need a copy of your driver's license, and I'll go make a phone call. 99% of the people that buy are like, okay, here's my driver's license. Start filling the information out while I go call the customer, the consignor, or the owner of the dealership if he owns it. The old school start way up here and we're going to end up somewhere in the middle. I mean, the internet doesn't exist. And, we got to get back to doing the Foursquare because that's where the money's made. Are you kidding me? When I've got Camping World and Blue Compass selling entry-level travel trailers for $150 to $300 over invoice, there's no negotiation. When I'm selling a travel trailer for $500 over pure invoice, there's no negotiation. It's a price. Now there are people that feel like I'm not going to pay what the dealer asks because I'm just not built that way. Hey, I get it. I'm the wrong guy to buy from. You need to go find a person that's marked up their unit and has a higher price than me, and then go negotiate with them so you feel like you got a deal. But if you want it easy, we did all the homework, we did all the research, we know what we're doing. And you want an easy deal where the dealer's making a little bit of money, where you feel like you're getting a good deal, where everybody's happy, and you don't have to lift a finger. There's thousands of places like mine. Tons of locations. Now, I don't own them. I don't work at all of them. But there are plenty of dealers out there that would just go, yep, that's our price. There's a lot of scam artists. So Facebook canceled me basically for 10 days. Because there's a scam artist on TikTok that is now, at least the people have called in or have talked to me, have taken basically RVers who believe that they can buy a $150,000 fifth wheel for 24 grand and it's only a year old, have taken those people for millions of dollars. They don't live in the United States, they don't work in the United States, but they've decided to use my videos, the place I work at. They've used Josh the RV Nerd, they've used Matt's RV Reviews, they used all of us and AI to scam you, the consumer, who wants to believe the RV market's crashing. I talked to a guy yesterday, gave him $5,000 over the phone. Well, it was the only reasonably priced guy in the entire United States. Oh, what do you have? Well, he had a Forest River Riverstone that was a 2025 for $24,000. So a unit, a 442 MC that fully decked out sells for $149.9. You really believe that it lost 95% of its value in 1 year? Well, yeah. Are you a fucking idiot? The problem is that there's too much money in social media, both to do it the right way, the scam way, or the fake way. There's way too many. Just, you could get, and this is the problem. I'm gonna give you, because I'm not gonna give out their name because I'm not gonna ruin their YouTube persona or their YouTube channel by calling them out. But there is a special YouTuber that is a full timer, and I'm not gonna tell you what unit because that'll give it away. And they act way different, and their belief system that they talk about on YouTube, on their Christian beliefs and how they believe in God and how they don't drink and stuff like that, they simply are the complete opposite. They're assholes, alcoholics, and racists. But if you go on their YouTube channel, you would never guess that. And they probably make pretty decent living. Probably, if I had to guess, probably 12, 15, 18 grand a month. And they're very popular. And they are some of the most racist people I've ever met in my life. They hate black people. They call, I literally was standing right next to them at a show, and they were using and dropping the N-bomb left and right. Yet people go to this YouTube channel for RV information, and this person's never worked at a dealership, never turned a wrench, but because they look a certain way, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because they act a certain way online, everybody believes whatever they say. And their brand loyalty goes to the highest bidder. But nobody sees that because, again, this is the biggest problem we have. We see it in politics. I literally watched a liberal podcaster who is anti-pro-life literally get caught with their pants down in front of hundreds of people who are recording this person who gave a woman shit for having an abortion. Millions of viewers. tens of thousands of dollars a month. Mr. Liberal Podcaster, who screams that a woman should be able to do this and a woman should be able to do that, is putting a woman in check over having an abortion? But this is what it is. What you see, and I'm different. People come up to me at the dealership and go, "Holy crap, you are way different in person than you are on your channel." I go, "Well, there's a big difference. On my channel, I yak, and talk. But when you're here, I open both my ears and listen. That's the difference. I'm really no different. I'm obnoxious. I'm a blowhard. I'm a jerk off sometimes. I'm a real dick and a schmuck. That hasn't changed. It's just a difference of you're here. I'm here to help you. I can't help you by yak. Mr. Beast is very different in person than he is on video, but it's different. He's a little more reserved. You know, there's a lot of guys that are very different persona-wise. But literally, we have too many people all over social media, all over the entire video streaming platform that are literally con artists. They're conning you into believing in what they say. And then behind closed doors, they're completely different. I'm not a good, I don't talk politics. I'm going to talk non-politically. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. Okay. I think he treats the world and has treated the world forever like a reality show. That's the reason why I don't like him. Nothing to do with the way he looks or sounds or politics or any of that crap, because I could care less about his idiocy sometimes. I could care less about any politician screaming and yelling nonsense when they really don't believe it. Okay. But I can't stand the way he deals with things because it's like he's on The Apprentice all the time. But people like Donald Trump because he's that same guy from The Apprentice today. No change. He isn't going wherever the wind blows like a lot of people in a lot of industries, in a lot of areas. So the reason why people always ask, how can people like Trump? I can tell you why people like Trump. It's because he's the same guy in The Apprentice as he is today. Hasn't changed. The only reason why. They know who he is, they know how he is, and they know we ain't going to get a switcheroo of his personality. While we have that with a lot of personalities out there, with a lot of people on radio, the reason why Howard Stern had such a great following, the reason why Joe Rogan, the guys like Don King, not Don King, maybe it was Don King, I can't remember. Larry King. The reason why Jay Leno, a lot of these guys had such huge followings and stuff was because they were pretty much the same person every year, every time. They didn't sit there and go, well, the political climate today says that we should all make babies and never kill anybody. So I'll go tell everybody that. Oh, wait, it's the opposite. Now we got to be this. Oh, now the opposite. Now we got to be that. I think one thing that some people respect about folks like me is I don't give a crap what people think. Let's just go make some content to help people. Fact of life. Let's go make stuff that helps people. It's one reason why I don't have brand. Everybody, I get asked all the time, why is eTrailer.com not sponsoring you? Why does Lippert not sponsor you? Why does nobody offer you a sponsorship, offer you money, offer you brand deals? Because they're afraid of what I might say. That's why. They're afraid I may say something detrimental to their product. Could I clean it up? Sure. But then I'm not being me. The reason why the Liz Amazings, not her directly, but the folks like Liz Amazing don't like me is because I tell people the flat truth and I'm not going to be overly negative about an industry that, number one, I've made a pretty good career out of, and number two, isn't as bad as people make it out to be. It has its problems. Don't get me wrong, it has its problems. It has its issues. But at the end of the day, it's still a great product and a lifestyle that you got to enjoy. I think our biggest problem with anything from houses to dishwashers to cars to tablets to phones is we go purchase a $2,000 cell phone and it craps out on us. We get all pissed off because our expectations of spending $2,000 is up here. When in reality, it should be probably somewhere around here. You know, I think what happens is I think anymore the education process at the dealership level and at the manufacturer level has gone to shit. With some exceptions. But for the most part, it isn't like it was when I grew up in the industry. Now, I was 28 when I got in. No, I'm sorry. I was 25 when I got in. But when I was 25 coming into this industry, it was learn your product, know your competition, have a presentation, qualify the customer, and go from there. That art is gone. Now it's, ain't it pretty? Don't you want to buy it? You know how many people have come back here to this dealership and bought truck campers from me because they're like, holy crap, you knew more about my truck and the truck camper than anybody I visited. I got a guy who came in here with a Ram 2500 with coil spring BS suspension, 1,940 pound payload. Every single dealer he went to from northern Nevada to eastern Utah, West Texas, Oregon, all told him he could put an Arctic Fox in that truck camper. He happened to come to me, lives in Idaho, by the way, comes to me on a whim, and we sat down and I showed him, here's your payload. You want to put an Arctic Fox in that truck? You got to spend about $35,000 upgrading everything, including your tie downs, including a sway bar, including bigger cooling system, including this, including that. List of the things. Now I over exaggerated. It probably was more like 20 or 25 grand. Or go buy a new truck. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay, let me show you which one you can do. This. He's out camping in it. Wrote me a check. Why? Because the art of presenting something to somebody and giving them a proper education, it's gone. And it starts at the manufacturer level and trickles down to the dealership level. And a lot of that, unfortunately, is you, the consumer's fault. It's not your fault because you don't want the education. It's your fault because you're not willing to pay for it. And a lot of the guys that had all the knowledge and all the experience basically gave the middle finger to the entire industry because they couldn't get paid. Now you got a bunch of young kids out there that get paid $150 to sell a trailer, there's no ambition. There's no commission anymore. California. There's no commission anymore. It's not what it was 10, 12 years ago. 10, 12 years ago, you can make 150 grand a year as a salesperson by selling, 115, 120 units throughout the year. You can make $600, $700, $800 a unit on average. Some you make more, some you make less. And you got to spend the time with the people. You spent 4 hours, 4.5 hours with someone on a given day. You followed up with them, gave them new answers, gave them new questions, put them on a list for the used want list. Those are gone. There are some exceptions, but that's gone. And you, the consumer, are the reason. Because you don't want to pay for the knowledge. Because if you paid for the knowledge, you'd be paying probably $4 or $5 grand more per unit. Just so that way the actual guys that had the knowledge and had the experience, they'd still be around. Now, can I blame you? No. You may be the reason, but I'm not going to blame you. You're not the one that invented the internet and RV trader and decided to be in the industry what we call whore. Dealerships used to have 20, 30, 35 employees. Now you're lucky if a dealership has 4 or 5 because there's just no profit. There's no money being made. The only part of the industry that's making any money is the guy that sells the markers, the bolts, the screws, the glue, and the banks. That's it. Go look at Thor and Forest River's financials. They aren't making money. Go look at Winnebago's. They're getting creamed. Don't look at the headline. Actually read the actual bottom line figures of what these companies are actually making. And you'll sit there and go, wait a minute. So you brought in $1 billion in a quarter and you got to keep 80 grand? Now that's a little bit of an exaggeration, obviously, but go look at it. Camping World has lost hundreds of millions of dollars over the last couple of years, but their revenue's up. They're not making any money. It's hard to make money as a company when the average selling price of your vehicles is $15,000. That's easy for a small little place to do. You got a small dealership, or you're selling 10 units at average price or 15 grand, you're making okay. You're doing all right. You're staying in business. You're a large conglomerate that is on the New York Stock Exchange and your average selling price at most of your dealerships is $15,000. You're not making any money. Again, I just trained a dealership 3 weeks ago, and the 3 sales guys hung up on me because they're young. They don't want to hear about qualifying a customer and leading them to a floor plan. They just want to sit behind with their little clipboard, let you walk around. Hey, you like this one? You want to buy it today? We got great financing. Oh, that Coleman 17B, you could live in it. It's built better than a house. Oh, that Brinkley fifth wheel, it'll never leak. It's a perfect unit. Oh, that Forest River Rockwood. Oh man, I mean, that roof will never have problems. It's got a lifetime roof. They'll cover anything. Oh, my favorite lately. Oh yeah, this Jayco travel trailer. It's got a 3-year bumper to bumper warranty. I mean, it's like, let's lie, cheat, and steal instead of helping the customer. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's getting out of hand. It is what it is. So that's it for tonight. Every day, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and I'll break it up in segments and stuff. So until tomorrow, RV stands for Toolkit and Sense of Humor.